This is Tech Mornings with a Tech Prepper. This is a new series where I'm going to walk through the build of the companion site for the Tech Prepper YouTube channel. And we're going to build a full site build out. Right now I have only purchased the domain and it's currently parked on Hover. So we're going to take it all the way through the domain registration, all the way to the content management system build out, all the way to hosting it in a cloud service provider. I haven't decided whether that's going to be Google's cloud platform or AWS. So with that out of the way, this will be a technical deep dive, so it's a little bit different from the content that I am normally producing on this channel. So if you are not technically inclined and not interested in the actual website build, which will go deep technically, feel free to skip these episodes. My plan is to still have these, the technical episodes every other day and the normal content on the opposite days. And this series shouldn't last more than about 5 or 6 episodes. So let's get started. So my first goal is to be able to build a companion site for the YouTube channel. So I do need to pick a content management platform that allows me to deal with rich media. So I need the ability to create a page, and then within that page be able to create or drop components onto the page that allow me to embed video, products, and text. So I'm going to go down the path of least resistance and go with a lightweight, open source, head optional CMS called Peregrine CMS. This is Apache v2 licensed. It is being developed completely in the clear. There is an open community around this initiative, both on the business side and the technical side. So for me, it looks like the right platform for me. It's also based around the technologies I use in my day-to-day job. It is lighter weight than Adobe Experience Manager, but it's built on pretty much the same technologies. It's built on top of Apache Sling, and it allows me to leverage Java, which is my preferred language of choice. In terms of development, I'm not really planning on doing any active development on top of Peregrine. My goal here is to use this more as a consumer and use all of the out-of-the-box features. If I get to a point where I need a feature, I will probably stop there and then walk everybody through the development of a customization, and then of course I'll contribute that back to the community. So there's more information on the Peregrine site. To start, we're going to go with the simplest of installs, and we're going to do a local installation. There is a command line utility called percli that you can use to install Peregrine. And the documentation is fairly straightforward. So there are some dependencies you need to make sure you have in place. This documentation is a bit stale. It's in the process of being cleaned up. But using percli, you only need to have Node.js and Java JDK 8 or greater. Maven 3.2 is only required if you're going to try to do a build of Peregrine, which we're not going to be doing in this video. So we just need to make sure that we meet the minimum requirements. I'm not going to go into the installation of Node or Java, but I will verify that we do have the minimum versions. So Node, I'm running version 10.19.0, and then Java, I am running JDK 1.8, so I'm good there. And installing Peregrine is pretty easy. There is an npm package for percli that we can install globally. I already do have it installed, but I'm going to go ahead and walk through the process anyway. Now, it's worth mentioning that Peregrine is going through active development right now, and the version of Peregrine we're installing will be changing in the next few days, if not next week or the week after. There's a major content reshuffling to support multi-tenancy, but this is just to show you how to install it. The installation procedure will not change. Later on, if we want to do an upgrade, we can actually do that pretty easily. Let me take a look here at my notes. I want to make sure I get it right. So when it's time for an upgrade, all we really need to do is just check to see which version we have first before the upgrade. We should be at, I believe, 0.1.37 alpha. Yep. And there's more information on the NPM site as well. And very similar to the install, all you would have to do is change install to upgrade and then go through the installation process again. Okay. So now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and install Peregrine via percli. I'm going to go into a working directory. So the tech prepper workspace, and I'm going to create a directory called Peregrine demo 1. And we're going to use percli, and we want to do a server install. So right off the bat, what it will do is download a custom version of Sling 9. This is an older version of Apache Sling. There is work being done in another branch to support Sling 11. This version uses the provisioning model. We're moving to Sling 11 because we want to get to a point where we're using the feature model instead. I'm going to stop this video in a couple seconds here until this is done because the process does take some time. Basically what it's going to do is install, pull down a Sling. Once Sling is up and running, it'll go and pull down all of the Peregrine bundles and then deploy those, and then the service will be up and running and it should launch a browser for you. So I'll pause the video now and we'll take it, do a quick tour once it's installed. Okay, now that the installation is complete, it should have launched the main login page for Peregrine CMS, and the username is admin and the password is admin as well. This can be changed. We'll go over that in a different video. And for this video, as I mentioned earlier, the content structure will be changing pretty heavily. Within the Git project, there is a actively developed branch. It's branch 93, and it's tied to issue 93, and it is introducing multi-tenancy. So we will be rebuilding what I'm doing today as soon as that is merged into the main develop branch. But I still want to go ahead and show, demonstrate a sample page built out using one of my videos, because that portion will not change. The actual components that we're using to build out the page are not changing based on my understanding. It's just the overall site structure and experience of creating and managing the site. So I'm going to go into Sites and Pages. And for this first demo, I'm not going to create a new site since that process is changing. I'm going to go ahead and just for demonstration purposes, we're going to create a sample page within the Theme Clean Flex site. And Theme Clean Flex actually is a separate project that packages a whole series of out-of-the-box components. And the goal of this site is not to write code. I want to be able to use the suite of components available to us specifically within Theme Clean Flex. And if there's a need for a new component, I will go back and spec that out, build it, and contribute it back to the community. So I will create a page here. And we're just going to call this one, you know what, let's jump into my YouTube channel real quick. And I'm going to grab an example video from recent history. Okay, let's go ahead and take the toilet paper problem solved. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a page named after the video itself. And now I'm going to go ahead and edit this page. There's no header and footer. We'll talk about that later. Right now I'm just more concerned about the content. So the first thing I want to do is make sure I have an H1 on the page. So we're going to go ahead and drop this text heading component on the page. And when you double click on this, you'll notice you have configuration options on the right. And all I'm going to do is drop in our title. And I'm not going to change much else right now. So feel free to experiment with this. And then the next thing I'd like to do is drop in, I'm not going to get into the containers yet. What I would like to do is drop in the media component. I'm not seeing the one that was media. Let's see. We'll do the video one here. Okay, so here's the video component. And one thing I noticed here for the video source, in the past when I was looking at this, I was not able to just cut and paste the share YouTube URL for the embedding. So what I've done is basically just take the YouTube ID here. All right, it's not going to be very happy. I'll grab the YouTube ID from the location bar. And for some reason, this integration is using the www.youtube-no cookie domain, so I'll just change this out. And there we go. We can actually see my video there. And we probably should change the title here. We're going to just call it toilet paper problem solved. Okay. Now that that's done, let's go ahead and drop maybe a rich text component on the page in between the title and the video. And this is just your standard WYSIWYG editor. There is some work being done to support inline editing. And let me just go ahead and just copy a little, put in a little bit of copy here. Awesome. And in terms of the product links, I think all I want to do here is probably look at the carousel components. I think there was one here called Owl. And in some of the videos I do reference a couple of different products. And this is one of the components I'm likely going to need to change, but we'll see how far we actually get with it. So I'm going to go ahead and kill some of the slide items here. And I'm going to go ahead and edit this first slide. And we don't have an image source. And this really is a workaround. Mostly when you're doing product embeds, you're doing it with like iframes. So what I'm going to do is go into the text area. You can actually see here I can put some text. Not sure why it's not showing up. And we'll hit this little area here so that we can, or this icon here, so we can switch to the HTML view. And all I'm going to do now is click on my affiliate link. And since I'm logged into my affiliate account through Amazon, I'm going to go ahead and, since I'm viewing this detail page, I'm going to click the text plus image, and I'm going to copy the iframe embed. And drop that right in here. And we'll save that. All right, so we've run into our first bug. This is fantastic. Let me go try that again. Oh, all right. So it seems to be there. That's interesting. I'll have to talk to the chief about that one. All right, so you can kind of see it working. Let's see if we can adjust the height on that. Make kill number 4. And we'll adjust the carousel height. And then we'll kill item 2, item 3, and save. All right, at this point we'll preview the page. And so you can see here we have our H1 heading, our summary, our video here. We can test playback. This video thumbnail was low quality on my side. I do need to work on the quality of those. It's not an indication of the platform having an issue. And then we have our affiliate link here in the carousel. So I could put more content here, but really the point here was just to show you that without any coding, we can go ahead and create a very simple site using out-of-the-box components from Theme Clean Flex. I'm also going to go ahead and test this without all of the editing Chrome. So all I'm going to do is manipulate the URL here and hit it directly. And I forgot to add the .html extension. So there we go. Very minimal page. We'll test playback. And we're good to go. So at any rate, this is Tech Mornings with the Tech Prepper. I wanted to thank everybody who's viewing. What we'll do day after next is we're going to actually experiment with the branch 93, which has multi-tenancy, and I'm going to show a slightly different approach to how I install Peregrine for custom builds. I will be creating a Docker container because for me the fastest path to get this live is to deploy to a Kubernetes runtime, mostly because I've done a lot of work in that area. So after we go through that and I get the site launched, I may go back and also test this on AWS and do a slightly different variation of the site build out. Feel free to comment down below. Let me know if you found this video helpful, any suggestions. Again, I do have a full-time job. I have a full-time channel. I'm a ham radio operator. I'm taking care of my wife and my family right now through this pandemic. So I do have a limited time, but I would be very interested in just hearing everybody's thoughts and whether this is valuable. I'm happy to put more time in if there is community interest here. All right, thanks guys. Be strong, be safe, and let's talk about Peregrine.